In this business analysis video, I'm going to be explaining how to use a proof of concept to identify additional system requirements. So let's take an example. I'm a test user. I've logged in as a field agent, and I'm someone who works at the community level and knows the community very well. I've already completed an application, and I come to the requires updates work queue. And I can see that requires updates means that an update is required. So I click on their name, and I even understand, I can go to rejected and understand why the record was rejected. In this case, because the child's proof of birth is a blank document. But as a field agent, I then look and I recognise and realise that I cannot actually make an update. And that's because at the moment, in this version of OpenCRBS, a field agent cannot make updates to a record that's been sent back to them. But in this country, I want to be able to do that. So as I engage with the person who has been leading the field testing, they would work with me to understand the requirement. They would then go to the OpenCRBS product specification document, and they would be able to go to the new requirements tab. Now, this product specification document was introduced to you in a previous module about functional specifications. And now you're going to use this functional specifications document for the country in which you're working in, and you're going to add the requirement that's been identified by the field testing user. So here I add in the function. What function will this requirement enhance? Well, it will enhance the notification and declaration function. The user task that I want this requirement to fulfill is, as a field agent, I want to update a record that has been rejected so that it can be processed. That's written as a user story as per the rest of the product specification document. Now, which users does this relate to? Specifically, this relates to the field agent, that is the individual at the community level, providing the service, completing the form, but also they know that community, so they want to be able to also make an update to make the community's lives easier. And the last bit of this template is really important. Why? Why is this requirement required? What problem does it solve? Well, why in this case? Because the field agent wants to be able to more quickly resolve an issue with a record, and because the field agent has access to the informant on a daily basis. So they can remove the need for them to visit the office. Now, if we continue to go along in this template, we will identify some other requirements that need to be put in here to complete and have a really full picture of a well-defined requirement. So, what is the precondition? What needs to be in place before this requirement can be fulfilled? In this case, the record needs to have been sent for updates and appears in the field agent's requires updates work queue. What would trigger this user task? The field agent would see a record in the requires updates work queue. What are the key steps the user must complete? Well, the user will select the record from the work queue. User will assign the record to themselves. The user will view the reason for rejection. The user will make an update to the record. The user will review the update with the informant, and the user will send the updated record back to the office. Now, this doesn't need to be a specific list of tasks in terms of we're not trying to design the system at this stage. We're just trying to say, well, what are the key steps that the user should be completing to fulfill this requirement? And this flow will then go to the designer, who can obviously ask additional questions in order to design this in a user-friendly way. Then what are the post conditions? What has changed? So, one, the status of the record has changed. It will be ready to review again because it's been updated. The audit trail will be updated to reflect the update made by the field agent. And I think those are really the only post conditions. Oh, actually, and the record will not be removed from the requires updates work queue and appear in the sent for review work queue of the field agent. So we're trying to explain as much about the expectations of this requirement so that the designer can then have a conversation as they move to design this. And then finally, are there any variations or exceptions to this rule? For instance, are there any alternative outcomes or unhappy paths? The variations might be one, the field agent does not make an update to the record, or two, I think that's probably the only alternative update. They might not have the information, they might not see that customer again, and so it would remain in the requires updates work queue until something would happen to that record at a different level. So as you can see, everything is here in the product specifications document. If you navigate to the new requirements tab, you can see this table, and it makes it really, really easy for you to do. You just complete and follow the instructions here, the explanations here in red, and then you'll have a really nice list of any specific requirements that have been identified during field testing, during the proof of concept.